AGM.
Hey,
Good morning.
can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Check
Oh,
one.
I can hear you totally fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, wonderful.
Fantastic. So could you give us maybe like a little bit of the run of show, how you'd like to see this conversation go and what you want us to chat about?
Yeah, I think the most important is the BIO Launchpad, because people are building agents, and that will be like one of the ways they could commercialize it. So I think, and it is a unique opportunity like in the market. So I think it would be super valuable. Yeah.
Okay. Hey Akash, do you want me to maybe like tee it up and then for you to explain how it all works, or do you want me to go for it?
Yeah, that works. By the way, it's already broadcasting on YouTube.
Oh, fantastic. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I would say,
There we go, guys.
yeah,
Sweet.
let's start the broadcast. Welcome, everyone. Thanks a lot for wonderful people from BioProtocol. James Sinka, the scientific mastermind behind the BioProtocol. Kash, one of the core team members, um, will explain how agentic AI could be commercialized, I'd say early commercialized on their platform, and you could then use some early proceeds to further build an agent and actually earn even more money on that while providing value to the community. So it's like really unique opportunity to do that. I'm super happy that BioProtocol is sponsoring this hackathon, and I think we will have like a long-term collaboration with them. At least I hope so. So first, the guys will talk about this possibility, and then we will give the floor to the questions. We have people joining to Zoom, and we also have people watching live on YouTube. So first, at Zoom, these are mostly the hackathon participants. So we will give a small priority to them, and then to the wider community on YouTube. So James, Akash, welcome. Also another person from the BioProtocol team, Michelangelo, just joined. So let's welcome him as well. The floor is yours.
Cool. Maybe I'll give a couple words and then pass it over to Akash. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is James. I'm the scientific lead here. Yeah, I think we're really excited to see what all people are able to build at the intersection of AI and science. I've said this many times before, but my belief is that science is the engine. It is the road that builds us a better future. It helps us get from the present to a potentially post-scarcity horizon or event horizon. And obviously, AI is the kind of technology that is inevitable, where we've already seen it immerse itself in all kinds of different industries. I mean, frankly, I've been using AI tools now more than Google. And we think that AI is just at its first innings, but on the path towards inevitability of accelerating scientific research and development as well. As you guys probably have seen, we've been leading this effort with our own AI agents, most notably Aubrey AI, and we've developed a launchpad to help people plug into the crypto economies in order to accelerate and monetize their AI insights. Maybe that's enough from my end. Maybe Akash, why don't you take it from here?
Happy to. Thanks everyone for joining. I lead the AI team at BioProtocol, where we are working on a framework for developing scientific agents called bioagents. So far, we have launched 3 agents through the BIO.XYZ Launchpad. We have Aubrey AI, as James said, Biome.AI, which is focused on the gut microbiome, and finally, DickGPT, funny name, but serious topic, men's sexual health. And what we're really excited about is enabling teams, enabling users from all over the world to build scientific agents that really accelerate scientific progress. There was some really exciting news that was released last night from Google DeepMind, where they were able to make a novel discovery in, I believe, cancer immunotherapy. So we're still on the early innings for what AI can do for science, but I think I'm super excited about the coming years. This is just going to be a field that gets exponential over time. Something that maybe I can speak to from the bioprotocol side. So we're working on this framework. Unfortunately, we still have couple things that are in transition with this framework. We're migrating to slightly different stack at the moment. So unfortunately, I can't pitch the Biogens framework itself and ask the participants from this hackathon to work on it as of today. But we should have something in a little bit more stable state in the coming days that should make it easier for individuals who are interested in building scientific agents. But also, just thinking through like what tools would be useful for scientific agents in the first place. So right now, obviously, a lot of AI agents have LLMs at their backbone, but just like what tools can you equip these agents with in order to make them more effective? For example, different computational models, making sure that this is formatted in a way where it would live in the context of an agent, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I think there's so many possibilities here. I don't want to limit the scope and creativity of the hackathon participants, but yeah, these are some of the things I'd say that we're interested in at BioProtocol, and also providing contributions to improve the existing agents that we have. For example, I know this is the hack aging hackathon, so things that would potentially be able to improve the performance of Aubrey AI, which has been developed in combination with VitaDAO and the LEV Foundation. But how can we make that agent itself more effective so that we can push the autonomous science space forward through this agent? I'll stop there right now. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of Q&A, but Michelangelo, I'll hand it over to you if you want to say a few words.
No, thank you so much. But like I think like both you, James and you, Akash, could say that like everything that was needed. So feel free to continue the conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, let me usurp the mic because I have a real mic and an opportunity. I want to ask you because, like, from what I've read, and I really like the incentive structure for agents that you launch on your platform. Could you explain, like, for a person who is not crypto native, like in a very, very simple words, how the tokenomics would work? And is it like a standard for all the agent launch on platform, or like can you tweak some numbers here and there?
James, do you want to take that question?
Sure, happy to. So at a high level, all of the tokenomics are always available on our website. You can go ahead and see what they look like for each individual agent. I can go ahead and just drop it in the chat if anyone is curious to see, for example, what do the tokenomics of the Aubrey AI team look like. Part of what we do at Bio is we help teams figure out what the right types of tokenomics look like in order to achieve what the goals are that they have. At a high level, we think about cutting up the pie in these very broad categories. One of the first is what we call the ignition sale. So this is when you actually put your project up on the Launchpad. You sell a certain percentage of those tokens, anywhere from 10 to 20% to the market. That initial allocation we deem to be the ignition sale, and then you also have a certain amount of tokens that are set aside for liquidity provisioning. And very like at a high level, because like you said, for people who are not crypto native, essentially, in order for you to create an economy around any kind of a project, you need to have the ability for someone to come in and buy and sell that token. That place where people can come in and buy and sell is determined, or is in the crypto space known as the liquidity pool. And so we set aside some of the tokens there in order to allow folks to come in and either place in your token in order to either side of the liquidity pool, whether it's your token or something like ETH or the BIO token, in order to come in and buy or sell your asset. We also set aside ownership for the initial team. So this is to make sure that the teams that do get funding continue to have a stake or an allocation in the project to keep them motivated to produce. BIO Protocol takes a fee as well for setting all this up. And then we have a treasury set aside, and then any kind of partners set the tokens aside as well. And these treasury assets can usually be allocated for all kinds of different initiatives. The most common one is actually rewarding the community for participating in the further development of your agent. So one classic use case would be, let's say you're building an agent for consumer-facing R&D, is you could have people give feedback on the outputs of your agent, sort of like reinforcement by human learning. And for folks that do this, they could earn a portion of the tokens by giving feedback to their agent, thereby improving the quality of the outputs over time. And this is something that's uniquely only crypto available. This kind of having your community own or earn the agent over time by doing useful tasks such as giving feedback for what the outputs are, not only increase their contribution and their ownership over this network, this tokenized agent, but it also allows you as the project to tap the power of your community to improve the quality of your outputs and make your power users power owners in the process. Alexei, does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes. So do I understand correctly that on launch you don't get the main ownership of the token? You can only access treasury and spend it kind of to further develop the agent. But you also earn money from fees, so it incentivizes you to kind of build in public and make sure people hear about what you're building. So and you only get to the access to real money the year after the launch and further down the line, right? Is it correct?
So there's a small nuance there. The team allocation is vested just like you would for any other kind of project. And the goal here is that the team themselves, the folks that actually contributed and built this project, don't just sell their tokens to the market and kind of run away. In crypto, we call this term rugging. We believe that by having a 1-year lockup where the team cannot just dump their tokens, it aligns incentives. That way the team is focused to make sure that they're executing and building and adding value over the course of that year for the actual agent. Now, the project, like you mentioned, can and does earn revenue from trading fees. So every time someone buys or sells your agent token, we take 1% of all of those trades, and that gets put directly into the project treasury. And this once again aligns incentives, because now in order for you to earn value for your project, and that those fees generated typically are invested back into for the development of the AI agent, your capacity to earn or generate revenue from this is directly correlated to the amount of attention you're able to bring to your project. So fundamentally, everyone understands that we live and exist inside of an attention economy. And crypto is one of the first ways that folks are able to monetize that attention as an asset, that interest. And so thereby converting or by having the teams focus on attention and utility of their AI agent, they're able to convert that attention into actually fees that they can use to develop their agent even further, as opposed to, if they didn't have the sort of crypto economic flywheel attached to it, many projects would be forced the only possible way to actually keep the lights on or for their development is by charging the end user for like a fee, like something like a SaaS service, like we see with ChatGPT, Anthropic, so on and so forth. But oftentimes that's not a possibility for teams or projects that are very early in their development cycle. Whereas crypto allows us to still support early stage projects by the faith that early power users have and by the attention economy principles that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, super cool. Do you help or teach the teams kind of how to capture the attention? Like, what do you provide in addition to the actual platform, like in the ways to grab this attention?
For sure. I mean, a lot of this is obviously determined by the force of will of the original team. So if this is not something that you can teach this, but the folks also have to want to learn. So we provide playbooks, we provide examples. I mean, if you look at our Twitter, we have so many launches that we've done historically. You can go see what other people have done really well. Obviously, we have teams of marketing and growth hackers internally that we give you access to. But by and large, no one can do as good of a job of advocating for the vision of what they want their AI agent to do, what it can do, where it will go, as the original founders and builders and hackers of the agent themselves. So we're very much focused on empowering and giving folks the tools in order to make the case for themselves. I mean, frankly, we give them the protocol, the actual launchpad for them to interact with and engage with the crypto ecosystem. So that way they can turn their message and their vision into attention and from attention into trading fees. But ultimately, it's up to the builders themselves to have a really powerful vision, be able to paint how they go from the present to that vision step by step, and to keep the community updated and engaged. We see one of the biggest challenges with new projects is not actually openly communicating. What's happening next, what are the features, what kind of updates are being pushed, and those are the fundamental things we explain alongside our playbook of content calendars and growth hacking strategies as well. But I just want to just stress this: we can teach a person how to fish, but they have to be interested in learning themselves as well.
Yeah, can't agree more. And I mean, it looks really interesting. Like, it looks like you're like third, fourth generation of actually experimenting with these
Mhm.
crypto models like DAOs and stuff. That's what I
Correct.
was observing in DAOs, that they kind of die in a year or two, just because there is no flywheel to kind of keep the attention going, and like there are like few exceptions, but like that's what generally happens.
Well, maybe I can push back on that a little bit. I think DAOs were a very interesting early concept that have had success. I mean, VitaDAO, for example, was the originator and creator of Aubrey AI. And so it took that entire ecosystem and community of people who were very passionate about longevity, who had developed a lot of domain expertise, a treasury, a network, for example, to produce such a high quality agent. But we do also recognize that we need to continue to iterate and be flexible with the markets. And we've seen, even just 2 years ago, the capacity of people to generate their own AI agents wasn't quite there. But today, it's obvious that AI agents are the future, and that we can use our expertise of tapping into crypto token economics and token engineering to give both access to the researchers, the hackers, the scientists, to the crypto markets, but also to give the crypto markets an opportunity to partner with and engage these projects in early stage. So I don't believe that DAOs are dead by any means, but we are very open to and excited about supporting new frontier technologies such as AI with our domain of expertise of bringing in crypto token engineering to all of these different projects.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that they're dead. I was just I wanted to say that what it happens with a lot of DAOs, like a lot of attention in the beginning, and then for many of them, and again, I'm a hodler of VitaDAO myself. That's why, of course,
Nice.
I of course love VitaDAO. But I observed many DAOs, so like, and many of them they just kind of like only several people are left, and I don't know if they're doing something or not. So like building in public is actually cool.
For sure.
So yeah, my next question would be, what sorts of sums people might expect launching an agent on your platform? So like I would believe Aubrey AI would be like a top estimate, right? But like other like a middle and low estimate, like what sort of sums we're talking about, so that can be got back to the building of an AI agent like each month, and like an
Yeah, so this is still very early stage for us in terms of like what are all the possible like capital amounts that are being raised. If you look, I'll drop a link for you guys for the Opera AI website. We actually have a live space where different, sorry, you can see exactly how much in fees Aubrey has generated to date. A lot of this is very much dependent on where the crypto markets go as well. So as you can imagine, right now we're at least as the past few weeks, as if you guys have been paying attention to crypto markets, they have not been in the best possible condition due to the escalating, U.S.-China relations. And so the fees nominated in Aubrey have slid. However, we are looking at other ways, not only through fees, to help these projects further increase their capacity to raise financing. Some of them are based on hitting certain metrics and certain milestones. Since none of that's public quite yet, I'm going to like just kind of tease that and like let you guys learn more as these new mechanisms become unveiled. But the team's working really hard to create multiple different avenues and angles for researchers, for hackers, for developers to be able to finance from the market. And we've seen fees being a very successful first go-to-market strategy. But just like you guys, we're constantly iterating. And so you'll see other mechanisms to come to play as well. I think the last thing that I'll say there is the more attention that a project is able to generate, the higher amount they are able to raise in fees. And so frankly, your capacity is really how much attention and interest you can generate. And then if you look at some other projects that have existed in crypto, there have been a number of different mechanisms to bring liquidity, or sorry, getting more capital out of these markets, including selling directly into the markets. That's something that we'll be able to explore more and share some more data on momentarily, I should say in the coming weeks and months. But so far, Aubrey has been able to generate over 300K worth of trading fees. And we think that that's really powerful. So in the period of about a month or so, being able to generate 300K is like far more than your average either AI or crypto project. And we believe that the best way for someone to stand out in the market is to be building something that is unique. So differentiating yourself from whatever other projects exist is one of the most important things any builder can do in order to generate a premium of attention that translates through fees into revenue generated for their project.
wonderful. So like, and I want to stress that out of these almost 300K, like a very considerable part went to actual Aubrey de Grey, not an agent, a real Aubrey de Grey, and
Correct.
it supports his work at the Longevity Escape Velocity Foundation, which is accelerating, getting to longevity escape velocity for all of us.
That's right.
Wonderful. Can you share like beyond Launchpad? Like I believe it is like a biggest focus for you right now, but for instance, pump science and other initiatives like that, can you share something on that?
Sure. No problem. So Pump Science is a partner project of ours inside of the general molecule bio ecosystem. For those who don't know, the goal of Pump Science is to generate real world animal data on novel compounds as soon as possible. I'll go ahead and I'll drop a link for those who haven't seen it before. But roughly how it goes is someone will suggest a novel compound or mixture of compounds, and they'll be able to launch that project or that theoretical mixture on the Pump Science platform. And then what happens next is people that are on the platform will go ahead and they'll buy a allocation of that new compound. Now, once enough buys have been placed as a market signal of interest, then that compound will actually be considered to be sufficiently validated or have enough interest that they pair up with a team to do C. elegans experiments that get live streamed. So you can actually see how whatever mixture or whatever active material is present, for example, rapamycin, will affect the lifespan of C. elegans. So that they'll do a live stream where you can see C. elegans, maybe it'll be like 10 with control and then your active ingredient, and that data will be live streamed. So that way you can, in real time, get to see how rapamycin in this case would affect the lifespan of worms. That process usually facilitates, through the actual live stream being live, more attention and then more speculation. And once a sufficient amount of trading has happened to raise funding for the next milestone, which is the testing in flies, similar type of thing happens where you have a control and then you have your active ingredient. You watch the flies in real time go around and traverse through space. And they'll get to show you how rapamycin, for example, will either extend either the stamina or the lifespan of flies. And then finally, they'll graduate all the way towards mice. And this, in the case for mice, it's not actually a longevity test, but it is so they don't sit and wait for mice to fully go through the lifespan. But they will test things such as a stamina of mice in something called a rotorot in order to measure how effective these compounds are at improving some health metrics in these mice, for example. So at a high level, pump science exists in order to create a real world playground to test certain compounds that get suggested by the community and launched on their platform to see what the actual data looks like in actual animal models as a first validation for those compounds being taken further in the R&D pipeline through hopefully breakthrough status and eventually human use.
Yeah, very cool. Very interesting. And I mean, I can't stress enough that like you said the word attention like I don't know 10 times or 15 times during this call. And that's what our industry still lacks. We're like still in the very, very early stage, and we need to capture this attention. And like I really like that you also seem to understand it. Now, if anyone have any questions to Bioprotocol team, please raise your hands or write the question in the chat if you are on YouTube.
Alexi, I just wanted to make maybe like one more quick comment
Go
before
ahead.
we jump into the Q&A. So obviously we've talked about the Launchpad, like how we've tried to develop it to be very like team founder friendly, to raise capital quickly for different projects. I'd also like to maybe highlight like a concrete example of how this is manifested in the early Launchpad so far. So Aubrey AI is the first agent that we launched on the Launchpad. And within 1.5 months, I don't remember exactly, there was actually a project that launched that was derived from Aubrey AI. So there's another project on the Launchpad we launched in the form of an IPT, that's intellectual property token, called VitaStem, where a researcher from the VitaDAO community used Aubrey AI to take an initial kind of hypothesis that he had, refine, modify it, and was actually able to launch successfully this VitaStem project. I don't know what the current market cap of this token is right now. I'm sure we can share the link for that a little bit later. But I just wanted to present that as an option too, because it's not just, you launch this agent and there you have to maintain the attention, but good agents should hopefully be almost like these fountains of useful scientific ideas, useful research proposals. And I think that obviously we're in the early days of like this bioagent launchpad system. But I think the best agents will probably be ones that are able to generate lots of really interesting research proposals. And then just maybe connecting to Pump.Science or some various other like laboratory setups. If you're able to really do that validation quickly, and like you have a really interesting ecosystem where science is accelerated super fast.
Maybe I can
So
add one more thing there real quick. Uh, this IP token, which stands for intellectual property token, was something that was co-created between a researcher at VitaDAO and Aubrey AI. And so the genesis moment was a demonstration between research and machine intelligence and human intelligence coming together to create a novel piece of intellectual property. And in the process of doing that, a new project or new concept was born that immediately got to be funded by the crypto markets. Now, we think that this is the direction in which scientific AI will go, and that it's not just a tool that sits there and gives, someone answers, such as could you, complete this, could you autofill the pieces of a clinical trial that I might be missing to elucidate, how rapamycin might be dosed in order to extend longevity, but rather to find new pathways or even propose new types of compounds or insights that otherwise humans may not have found by themselves, and then to tie in an economy that allows you to directly finance and fundraise for that research in the same place that it was generated. So one of our visions here would be for all the AI agents that get launched through Bio to have a direct pipeline to go from engaging with scientists to the co-creation of this novel piece of IP to it being directly launched in Launchpad and then finally funded by the marketplace, all in one continuous pipeline. We think that this is the way that we get far more productivity and novel insights out of GPUs that fundamentally could unlock not just human lifespan, but human health.
So, if I am a hacker and I want to build an AI agent, and I go ahead and talk to Aubrey AI, like, what should I build? Like, I have these skills. What do you think are these opportunities in the market that are unique for me? And it really helps me. So I'm like so happy. How would I try to pay back to Aubrey? Should I just include him in the agent I launch or like a product I launch on your platform?
Yeah, I'd say we're kind of building out the full like permissionless automated nature of this because uh, if you were asking for today, I would say work with the agent and then reach out to the bio protocol team. You should also be able to like mint an IP NFT and then which would be sort of the base for the IPT. I think we're trying to move towards like a more like self-service permissionless system. That'll probably take us a little bit more time, but I'd say if you do have a really interesting hypothesis research proposal, which was partly, at least partly, or if maybe even fully, you used Aubrey in your workflow, definitely reach out to us. I'd say it's definitely it's a good signal for the launchpad if you can sort of attribute the agent as well, rather than saying, "Oh, I just like came up with this."
Cool. So from those who are in the call or YouTube, do you have any questions? It's a very unique chance to speak to BIO protocol there, and really hard to get to. I can tell it. Let me look at YouTube. Yeah, I don't have any questions myself other than what is the best way to reach out to you? Because I believe a lot of hackers will be watching this offline and in the recording. Could you say like the couple of words where to follow you, how to reach out? So there
For sure.
is
I just dropped my Twitter in the chat. My DMs are open. Anyone can feel free to send me a DM on Twitter. I'm x.com/JamesSinka. You can also reach me at my email. It's first name at our website URL. And then if any of you have any interest in sort of digging into what it means to work with bio as a scientist, we also have a fantastic website that tailors to scientists themselves. It's bio.xyz/scientists. We've got a form in there if you all have an AI agent you'd like to launch, where you can tell us a little bit about what your project is, what it does, and then we can reach out and tell you how we can help you get started and get launched. Now, please also make sure you're following our main account on Twitter. We're always setting up new news on what the latest for launches are. And so if you want to make sure you don't lose any opportunities, any new insights on what we're doing next, that's the best place to get all the most up-to-date information. But yeah, feel free to send us an email or a DM on Twitter. We're very active there.
Yeah, thank you very much. One last chance. Any questions in the audience?
One last thing, actually, that I'll say. I feel like I've said this a few times before Q&A. I understand this is obviously hack aging, hackathon, focused on longevity. If you're interested in like building your own bioagent, please don't be intimidated by the fact that there already is an existing longevity agent on Launchpad. I think the way that we are thinking about these agents, each of the individual agents will hopefully be very useful for generating new and useful scientific insights, but also and this is maybe a little bit of a commentary on just the AI space in general. We've probably been talking very heavily towards like a human to agent user interaction bias. But realistically, like most of the interactions will be agent to agent interaction. And so I would suggest, so one of the things that we did when we helped collaborate to build Aubrey was we made sure that it was like very focused on LEV's research focus, like senescence, sense framework. I think there's obviously like aging is a multi sort of multi-dimensional problem in many ways. So don't just approach it from like a development, like how do I develop this agent in like a unique way, but also from like a scientific perspective, how do I give this agent like a unique spin? What is the scientific lens that is sort of missing from the current ecosystem? The way that I think about it is like these agent to agent interactions in the future will be like if we had a conference all the time, like always on. These agents don't need to sleep as long as we're paying our GPU bills. These agents can continuously collaborate with each other. So I'd say those two sort of dimensions, being able to focus from a like a technical architecture perspective, like how is this scientific agent unique, while also keeping in mind like the scientific angles.
Very cool. Okay, one last chance. I don't see any questions, so I don't want to take up more of your time. Thanks a lot. Again, for the people who are watching this in the recording, guys, this is the way, like the probably most straightforward ways to commercialize your agent early, right? You can spend 1 year building it and spend your money on it, or you can build it in public and iterate with the community, and like when it's ready, you will already have the community and the money to fund it. So thanks a lot. Hope to work with you extensively, and I definitely expect several of the teams going to you and launching something on your platform. Bye.
Well, we're really excited to see what you guys build. Thanks so
Yeah,
much for the
cool.
opportunity.
Wonderful. See you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Ciao.